Alright, today more platforming stuff. Check it out. So here we have our little platforms, right? Different heights. Jump up here, jump on this one, fall from here to here, here to here, and then you can also walk on the surface like so. And if you get too close to the edge, whoa, you fall. And same thing if you move down, boom. Let's see if I can jump over to that other platform. Oh yeah, I made it. Usually it takes like 3 tries. So like already you can start to see the potential for like, not, I mean, if you don't want to make a beat 'em up, you can just do like a 2.5D platformer here, and you can already start to come up with ideas for like level design, because like, you know, you can walk up and down on these platforms, and not only that, but you can jump, you can fall off of them, you can jump from one platform to another. Let's see if I can jump to that wall back there. Oh, let me try it again. One more time. Oh, almost. Anyways, you get the idea. So that's what we're gonna do, and it's pretty much just building on top of what we've already been doing. So we're gonna continue where we left off. Before we get to the objects, I just want to go over some sprites really quickly. So here I created, there's 4 sprites, but don't worry about this one. This is for a later tutorial. This is more of an advanced kind of thing I'm gonna do. For now, ignore this and just focus on these 3. And these three sprites, I have them up on my Patreon account. If you guys want to download them, they're up there for free. You can use them. And while you're down there, if possible, you want to help support the channel, please feel free to do so. With these sprites, what you have to remember, really important, go to your mask, modify your mask, and make sure that you have the mask set to manual, because normally it's set to automatic, and that's pretty much covers the entire image, but we don't want to do that. So set it to manual, and then the size of your mask is equivalent to how thick your platform is, and usually the thickness of the platform has to do with the walkable surface, which in this case would be here. So the walkable surface here from top to bottom is 20 pixels high. So what you do is you go all the way to the bottom, and in this case the bottommost pixel is 46, and you subtract 20 from it, because that's the thickness of our walkable area. So you subtract 20 from 46, you get 26, that's right. And that is your mask, and that's how you should do your mask for all your platforms, no matter how tall they are. For example, look at this one over here. This is a little bit taller, but the mask is still just only 20 pixels high, because that's a walkable surface. So make sure you do that, okay? And then just pretty much center the origin where it lines up with the mask. So the top of the mask, right here, 39, it's pretty much where you want to put your y-axis. See, 40, 39, more or less around there should line up. All right. Now that being said, let's move on to objects. That's right. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we are going to create an object. So let's create an object. Assign it the sprite platform 25. 25 is I put 25 because that's how high it is pixel wise. So it kind of helps me remember. So create event z equals -25, because that is how tall our platform is. And then, very, very important, make sure you parent it to the object wall. Okay, parent it to this guy right here. And that's it. That's all you do. That's simple. And you pretty much just do the same thing for the other 2 platforms. You just create another object, grab the next platform, which is platform 40, put a create event, grab some code, z equals -40, and then parent it to the same object wall, that purple, pinkish purple block, and voila, you're done. number 60, create event, drop code, z equals negative, what is 60? 60, and parent. There you go. Okay, now this is not gonna work, but I just want to show you something really quick. Okay, so I'm gonna erase these guys, and then I'm gonna go to my objects, and I'm gonna drop the smallest one, which is this one. Again, you know, if it's not snapping exactly where you want it, just hold down the Alt key on your keyboard, and then you can pretty much just put it wherever you want. So I'll leave it there. Okay, let's run this. See what happens. See what happens. It's not gonna work yet. It's not gonna work, but still. Let's just see what happens. See what happens. See what happens. Should take forever, dude. Ah, there it goes. Finally. All right. So you know we can collide with it. I can't go through it. I'm trying to walk through it, and I can't. And let's see if I can jump on it. I can't jump on it. Alright, I'm going to show you why. That's what I wanted to show you. So you can't jump on it just yet. Come back to your little character, your little player. Go to the step event, and remember where we put our collision code? Go back there. So what we're going to do here is we have to, because this is what we have so far. We have, if there's an object in the way, so back to the famous diagram. Okay, little famous guy, here he is, and let's draw our object. Let's see, go with green. So let's say this is our platform right here, right? And then I'm gonna draw the mask. This is the mask. Let's just say this is our mask right here, right? Like can't go past that. Anyways, so you know your character's walking, and he's right up against this collision mask, so he can't move any further. And then when you try jumping, he still doesn't. So this is the little guy jumping, and he still can't. He still can't go past this point, right? So what we need to do is we need to write an exception in our code. The exception that says even if there is an object in our way, if our z value is lower than the platform's z value, then we should be allowed to move into the object. So what I mean by that is that, you know, for example, our smallest platform has a z value of negative 20, what was it, 25 or something like that? It was 25, yeah. Alright, so it has a value of 25. So what we want to say is that if our z value is lower than this, and you know, remember Game Maker, it's freaking backwards. If our z value is lower than this, so anything lower than negative 25, so you know, for the sake of argument, let's just say negative 30 for us. If we're lower, which means if our z value is lower, which means that we're higher, then we should be allowed to walk into the platform's collision mask. So that is what we are going to do. So come over here, and then right here, after it says if not place median wall, we're going to say or. So if there's nothing in the way, move into that position, or if there is something in the way, but our z value is lower, right? Lower than or equal to the object walls.z value, then we should also be allowed to walk into its space. And what I mean by that is, crap, I'm about to run out of time. Damn this. Alright, okay, so what I mean by that is, to walk into its space is this. Alright, so our little guy, let's say this is his collision mask, right? So this is his collision mask right here, right at the base of his feet. Now the way our code is working, the way we wrote it is we said, if you remember in one of the past videos, I said right here where you draw your sprite, you put Y plus Z. So what that means is this is what's happening. Watch, this is something you probably didn't realize, but this is what's happening when your little guy jumps in a 2.5D world in this case. So let's just say this is your guy on the floor, and then this is your guy in the air, right? So the collision mask is at his feet here, and when your little guy jumps, his collision mask still stays in the exact same place. So even though he's being drawn up here like he's jumping, in reality he's actually still in the same position. The collision registers in the same spot as when he's standing on the ground. So that doesn't change. It's not like you jump and then his collision mask comes up here with him. That does not happen. What happens is that the collision mask stays exactly where it's at. He's just drawn at Y plus Z, which is up here, but his collision mask is here. So if you come back over here, when you're jumping, the reason you can't go over the object is because your collision mask is still being drawn right here, even though your character looks like he's up here. So these collisions, these two masks are colliding. So what we want to do is write that exception where if our Z value is less than the object Z, we can go into its space, which means that, you know, our little character can move over here, and his collision mask is able to go into the other object's collision mask. So it'll be like this. It's like here's the other object's collision mask, and then here's yours inside of it. So you're pretty much walking around inside the other object. So that's what we're going to do here. Okay, right here. So we're saying if there's nothing there, move. But if there is something there, but our Z value is less than that object's or that platform's Z value, you should still be able to move into that position, even if you're going into if your collision mask is going into their collision mask. So in other words, ignore their collision mask. And then you're going to do the same thing for down here for the B speed, so up and down movement. Same thing. Your or. Now, this is going to cause a problem, and I'm going to show you what it is. Do it that way. So, probably not going to work still. Okay, it does work, but as you can see, I'm able to move. So let's go over here. See this guy's able to. So you can jump on it, but you can't move, right? Like I'm stuck. The only way I can move is if I'm over it. Okay, now the reason I wanted to show you that is because, let's come back over to our collision code. We're saying object wall.z. So what I'm thinking is happening here is that since you're using object wall.z, GameMaker is just taking the first wall that was created in the level, and then it's using that object's height. So even if this object has a different height, it's still using this object's Z because it was the first one created in the level. So for example, if I had a multiple of these platforms, different heights, and we use this code object wall.z, it's only going to grab the first one that was created. It's going to grab its Z value. So let's say the first one created has a height of, for example, this one has a height of -44. So now it's assigning that it's using that as the Z, which is why when we jump on it, we can't move because object wall.z is -44. So the way we get around that one is we write an extra line of code here. And we're going to call it inst, short for instance, and this is going to be place meeting. You know what? I'll just meeting. So it's pretty much exactly the same code as the one right underneath where I'm writing. Only difference is that we're using, instead of object wall, we're using, oh yeah, we're using object wall. Okay. This. And then down here we're going to replace this object wall with inst. So what inst does is that it returns the ID value of the specific wall you're colliding with. So let's come back over here. What is this? So what place meeting does is that it's place meeting, right? Yeah. Oh no, wait, it's supposed to be instance place. Sorry. Instance place. Okay, there. That's the one. Okay, so what instance place does is when you collide with an object, platform or whatever, it returns that object's ID number. So like every single object that's created in GameMaker is assigned an ID number automatically by GameMaker. So for example, our character would have an ID number of like 111111 whatever, and let's say we have multiple platforms, you know, different heights, so each one is assigned a different ID number as well. So like this platform would be assigned ID number 10001, and then this platform would be assigned ID number 10002. So it kind of depends on the order in which it's created in the game room. So in order for us to grab the Z value, or the height of every individual platform, we use the command, we use a function called instance place, which returns the specific object that you're colliding with. It returns that object's ID value, and with it, its Z value. So ID dot Z returns each platform's different height, specific height. So inst, and then we started in the variable called inst. So that now we're saying if there isn't an object in front of us, move to that position. But if there is an object and our Z value is less than the specific object that we're colliding with, their Z also move there. So this, just by doing that, we'll get around that. So here, I'm just gonna do another inst, but this time I'm gonna copy this code because we're moving the move check from the X to the Y. And then here we're just replacing that with inst as well. And then that should work. So watch this. So here it is, watch it out. So now we jump on it, and now we can move around on top of it. See? Go to the edge, we fall off of it. See? And then you go too far up, you fall behind it. Ooh, look at this. Alright, so move up and down, but not to the left and to the right. I think I know why. Come back to your collision code. Here where it says inst, I forgot to change this function from not place meeting to instance place, same as above. Okay, there, so that ought to fix it. So just by doing that, now we can move when we're on the platform, and then we can't move when we're off it. So here I'm on it, fall off, and now I'm pushing down and I can't go through it. And I could, what's cool is like I can slide along the wall here. like about this collision code. So yeah, look, check it out. Ooh, there it is. Platforms, and then you can walk on the surface and you can fall off of it. Here, let's test it out with some different heights. Grab the next one. So like this one. Let's see. Oh, maybe over here. Let's mess around with some level design. This one can be like down here. Let's see if that works. And that's pretty much it. Pretty simple. Let's see. Here. Oh, whoa, crap. Let me try again. Here. Oh man. It's a feat. Oh, nailed it. There it is. And then if I walk off the edge, I fall off, and then I'm trying to walk through it and I can't. Oh yeah, one more thing I want to show you before I finish off the video. So go over to your platform object, and then where it says create, type in this command called depth equals -y, the famous depth equals -y code. So what this does is every object has this little box here that says depth, which is kind of how close or far away this object is from the screen. And GameMaker uses that to determine what to draw behind what, like what should be drawn first, what should be drawn second. So when our object is created in our room, we assign it a -y. So wherever its location is in the room, like for example this one would be somewhere like, if you look down here where if you look here at the bottom where the y is, like this would be like y -128. So depth equals -y would give this a depth of -128. So that our object, our little character, if he's down here, his depth is -160, which means that it's in front of this object, so it's drawn in front of it. However, if he's behind it, his depth is -96, which means that the platform is in front of it, and the platform gets drawn first. So you want to do that for all your platforms. Just go over to all of them and type in depth equals -y. However, hold on, I think. Here, let's try this. Let's just go to the parent object. So go to the parent object. We even have depth. No, that didn't work. Never mind. Yeah. So go to all your platforms. Just type in depth equals -y. That'll work. Last one. Also equals -y. And one more thing on your little character, your little River City Ransom guy, go to the movement code, and then here under the step event, movement, type in just put it right here, depth equals -y. And that'll handle the drawing for now. So let's see if it worked. Alright, so here I'm in front of the object, and then here I go behind it, and there you go. Check it out. See? Behind it, and then you're in front of it. And then so when you're on the object and you walk too far back, you fall behind it. See? Ah, crap. Anyways, so yeah, that is it for this video. It's already a lot longer than 10 minutes. Again, the project file and the code, I'll write all the code out so you can just cut and paste it, and I'll have all the assets that I used here on my Patreon account. So go over there, download them, they're free, and if it's possible to drop a few coins, please do so. It really helps out. Alright guys, till next time.